What's up everybody, and welcome to the channel. In today's video, we are here at 704 Exotics. We're going to take a side-by-side look at the McLaren 570S alongside the Acura NSX.
So we have two 2019 year models here. You'll be able to find them on the lower end for right around 120 grand or so. Both of these are going to be a little bit more than that just with the miles that they have. So we have two mid-engine supercars to dive into, with the Acura being a little bit more modern with that hybrid tech.
Moving on to the power plant of each of these two cars, underneath the hood of the Acura NSX, you're going to find the 3.5 liter twin turbocharged hybrid V6. It produces 573 horsepower with 476 pound-feet of torque. This car's all-wheel drive, can do 0 to 60 in 2.7 seconds, topping out at 191 miles per hour, and it weighs in at 3,800 pounds. Underneath the hood that you cannot open on the McLaren 570S, you're looking at a 3.8 liter twin turbocharged V8 with 562 horsepower and 443 pound-feet of torque. This is rear-wheel drive with a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission. 0 to 60 is 3.1 seconds, topping out at 201, and it weighs in at 3,300 pounds. Moving on to the exterior styling, this is a British supercar. Has a really nice aggressive look, lots of sharp lines and good curves. And then over on the Japanese car, the NSX, a lot more angular, pointy front end. Both of them, I think, look fantastic. You really can't find a bad angle. Very different looking cars for sure. However, they are both stunning, especially in the blue color. The NSX is a really nice looking car. The rear end kind of mimics the front with that pointy shape. So it has a really cool looking design. You can get the 570S, of course, in a coupe as well. Hardtop convertible, has a gorgeous look to it. So of course, looks are subjective. Both cars really stand out. So then moving on to trunk storage space, the NSX has a trunk behind the engine. As you can tell, it goes about all the way from one side to the other. So you have pretty good amount of space. I think you might be able to fit a couple golf clubs outside of the bag, or some duffel bag, so not too bad. Underneath the front, which just has mechanical things underneath it. And then over on the McLaren, the only storage really is the front trunk, which is actually pretty roomy in here, as you can tell. I'd say this is a little bit deeper, not quite as wide. With the hardtop up, you can put a little bit of cargo underneath this tonneau cover, which is a nice touch. So I'd say as far as storage goes, both of these mid-engine supercars are about equal. So now taking a look at the interior with the Acura NSX, pretty nice looking steering wheel with all of your typical controls, some carbon fiber on it. We have a digital gauge cluster right now. Being a hybrid, this can go into the quiet mode. If I turn this into sport, and then sport plus, you can now hear that engine turn on, and then of course you can toggle back and forth. So pretty cool depending on your drive mode, battery charge, and things like that. But you have a pretty cool gauge cluster. Again, just toggling the drive mode, you can see how it'll adjust everything. You also have the track mode on the far right side, but pretty cool. You have your air vents up on top, pretty typical screen, and all the controls in the center for climate, kind of just like you would see on any Acura. Climate icon, you get all of that, home icon as well. Your drive mode select is right here. You can easily just toggle this to the left and to the right. And then we have your gear selector down here with park, reverse, neutral, drive, and manual. Heated seats, a little bit of storage in the center, same with down here. You're part of the audio system, really comfortable and plush seats, kind of on the luxury side, I would say. Removable cup holders over here, door panel, you can take a look at everything on that, nice armrest, and then cool contours along the dashboard with leather up on top, this plastic aluminum, and then nice Alcantara on that. So pretty cool. Visibility, not too bad. You can see out of all the mirrors really well. Over your right side, kind of what you would expect for any mid-engine car. And then now sitting in the McLaren, you got a nice small round leather steering wheel, no buttons on or anything, paddle shifters just like we see on the Acura, digital display as well with some vitals on the right, massive tachometer, and then down below is all of our drive modes. Of course, we have the active icon, you turn that on and you can go in between everything. So right now you can see that full tach, which is really cool. Of course, configuring everything, it'll change up everything. So pretty nice to see all the different displays. It does beep in here for whatever reason, I'm not too sure. I will say adjusting the seats is pretty awful. They are really hard to move. They are just random buttons underneath there that you can't actually see. And then in the center we have two air vents, your screen right in the center. This is the home menu. Tapping the fan icon, you can get all the climate. Actually not too bad of a system, honestly. It actually looks pretty good in here. Super easy to use. So don't mind that at all. Backup camera in both cars. Down below we have the front trunk. You can also see a few more icons. The lower window in the back you're able to push down. And then rear visibility is a little bit better in this car. Pretty large windows as well to see around. So really not too bad.
All right, so we are going to set off behind the wheel of the 570S because this is a little bit more geared towards the vehicles that we currently own, like my R8 and his Gallardo. Kind of that almost more old school feel in a sense.
Yeah, twin turbo V8, dual clutch. This is very normal of a modern supercar.
It's pretty quick too. I'm not doing anything pedal to the floor today, but shifts seem very smooth. There's a little bit of, you can feel them a little bit.
A little bit of drama to it, which is nice.
And it's interesting, I didn't know the paddles are connected. So when you push on one, the other one moves. So you can actually shift with one hand if you needed to. Well, I've never seen that in another car before.
I think McLaren's the only one that's doing that.
Yeah, which is kind of neat.
It's a cool cockpit. You're very compact in here.
Yeah, it is tight. It's like my Lotus Evora, which is another British car. But yeah, it's super tight, even for you and me. Like,
yeah, we're slender body types, almost 6 feet tall. I'm not a fan, I will say, of the maneuverability of the seats. I think the coupe gives you a little bit more space. If you are new to the channel, I compared a coupe to buying my Gallardo, and there was better room, I think, in the coupe with the seats. This, if I go any farther back, it keeps putting the backrest more straight up. So
it's a little finicky for sure.
Kind of hard at my height to find the sweet spot. I feel a little too tall. My legs are a little cramped.
But aside from that, it drives nice so far. It's nice and smooth and comfortable. We have it in the sport setting now. I don't know if there's any suspension settings when you put it in a track.
So if we go into normal mode, I guess the transmission, everything kind of tones down. Really just handling and powertrain.
Yeah.
And let's go into track mode.
So yeah, I'm curious if the gauge cluster changes.
I think this shifting feels a little quicker to where it doesn't kick you as much.
It's a little hard to feel that, but it is cool to shift with one hand. So like if you got a drink or something, or you're eating food, going around a turn, it would be easier to do that.
As a passenger, aside from not getting the seat perfect, like you have some nice materials. It's hard to tell if this is real leather or not, quite honestly, but this one is in really nice shape. Like it feels modern, nice in here. It's just a very compact little go-kart, really.
I will say, even though it's compact, visibility is very good.
Oh yeah.
Compared to my car, my R8, with the window in the back there, the pillar, even for a hardtop, you can see right over that. So like, I don't have any issues with visibility for a mid-engine car. This is actually really good. Turning radius is pretty tight too.
Yeah, it's a very cool experience. Now, let's see what you guys look like as we pop open the door. And that is the one biggest cool thing that you're gonna get in a McLaren.
All right, welcome back.
Yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the ride up that. So yeah, I've driven the 570 before. Like I said, I compared one to buying my Gallardo, of course.
We're gonna put the window down in the back so that way we can hear that V8. Which is something I wish my car did, but my window's on the inside of the car.
Yeah.
Not on the outside.
Gosh, this is so different. Of course, the R8 and Gallardo are very similar, so we're used to that. This is just a go-kart. This is such a cool feeling. It is so unique.
It does remind me of the Lotus.
It does a lot. It's just, I'd say, a little bit better detail.
A lot nicer than mine was.
And faster, obviously.
And faster, yeah. Okay, I would get the hardtop just for the window. If you didn't want the top down.
Man, this car feels like it would be so at home, just like on a track, just going crazy. It feels so darty. You're so on the front axle.
It's about the same weight as my R8, so it would make sense that it handles just like that would. Yeah, as far as, even though it's not all-wheel drive.
You can tell it's just that like lightweight.
Yeah.
Tire pressure is a little cold still, but it's a nice place to be, and I feel like you don't get crazy modern stuff in it, but everything works nice. I like the way the screen works. It's simple. Everything just feels like this is what a modern supercar should be like. Man, it handles just so good.
Yeah, you can feel those shifts.
And you got that turbo noise.
All right, in the NSX, here we go. Now this one does have an aftermarket exhaust, so I'm not sure what a stock one sounds like. But this one sounds good. Doesn't seem as quick, which is weird.
Yeah,
because it has more power.
Wait, let's go to Sport Plus now, because powertrain was down a little bit.
Let's try this again. Wow.
That was pretty darn fast.
That was quick.
Sport Plus mode, yeah, that opens up the power and everything.
Well, what I love about this NSX already, when we were in the parking lot, we had it in the quiet mode where it shuts off the engine. So at some point it will shut off. It's not immediate, which is weird, I think.
It's slow speed, it'll let you do EV.
Okay.
I don't know if you can drive in electric mode or not.
So maybe just parking lots, stuff like that. Either way, it's still cool because, like with my car, it's very loud when I start it up in the morning. The quiet would be a really cool option to get out of the neighborhood and then fire up the car and have some fun. This is a cool concept already. And then even with that aftermarket exhaust, you go from quiet to a smile on your face. Like, I think it's the best kind of everything, and we're starting to see a lot more cars incorporate the hybrid tech.
I mean, even a Lamborghini Revuelto, the big V12 is gonna now have it.
Yeah.
One thing cool, if we do tone it back down, this is definitely a more substantial feeling car. There is so much more room. Like, we each have armrests.
Yeah.
We're sitting in a couch pretty much.
I would say this is more of a Grand Touring style mid-engine car.
Like a luxury car.
Compared to the McLaren. Although you could drive the McLaren all day long, just to your personal preference. But this is more like you got an Acura logo on the steering wheel. You're just driving an Acura, you know, something you can take on long distances. You got room for storage, well, just in the back, I guess, but
yeah, this feels like so nice, so comfortable. You can see the front end more, it feels wider.
It feels a little more user-friendly with the screen in it and everything.
It's more of a normal car versus the McLaren is very like track focus feeling, like performance focus.
Yeah.
This is a little more familiar. Smooth suspension.
This is cool.
Too.
Yeah.
It's a cool place to be as a passenger. It just feels comfortable. Like, road trip in 11 hours, I wouldn't have even the slightest issue in this car.
I will say with visibility though, it's about the same. Over this shoulder though, the pillar is a little bit bigger, but from my R8, probably from your Lambo, rear view is going to be the same since you can see everything there before the back window there, but I like this. I don't like how angled the gauge cluster is. It just feels like I'm farther back than I should be.
It's tilted forward, kind of in a weird way.
But other than that, I like this.
Okay, let's do this now.
There we go.
So, quiet mode.
Let's see how far we can go. Like when you get out on the road, if it'll... Oh, man.
Okay, so it's really for parking lot stuff.
Huh. Okay, maybe you gave it too much gas.
Let's,
Try to give it, like, nothing.
No.
Yeah.
So it's for parking lot, which is cool.
Dude, this is cool. I don't know.
Wow, that's fast.
Man.
So responsive, like the throttle. See, that's the cool thing with the electric motors. You have some of that EV power to where, you know, when I compare this to my GTR, which twin turbo V6, there's turbo lag, like we just saw on the McLaren.
Right.
There's no turbo lag because you have the EV power just, and you feel those turbos just kick in. That is really cool.
Yeah, I forgot what I was gonna say.
Well, the cool thing is now in Sport Plus mode, it does feel a lot more twitchy. Nowhere near the McLaren being so pinpointy.
Yeah.
God, that sounded so good under there. And it is neat, just the diverse driving. Like if we go back into quiet mode, automatic. Okay, so we're in EV cruising. So I guess, okay, so this is like a hybrid setup, which obviously it's a hybrid car, but it's a very hybrid mode, the quiet mode. It'll use EV and charging when you're coasting.
That is interesting.
Use the engine when you need it. But it's comfortable, it's luxurious, it's a normal car at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But then you can turn it up a notch and you're in a fun supercar. So I feel like this might be kind of that sweet spot of modern technology getting pretty good and offering you quite a lot. Because this is fun, it handles tight.
It's cool because a lot of the hybrid stuff that we saw first come out was in hypercars, like the 918, LaFerrari, I think, right? All of those cars, and it's, you know, something that a majority of people aren't going to just go out and, you know, buy a LaFerrari. to drive around a hypercar.
I would assume we're going to start seeing this more and more into normal sports cars, get into that $60,000 price range. But even on the used market, a car like this,
Yeah.
it's cool to have that blend. And I think this is going to get to the sweet spot of technology to where I don't want an EV supercar. I will never, ever buy one.
Yeah.
I will keep my dinosaur V10 for as long as I can.
Yeah.
But this is cool to have that, get out of your neighborhood, move the car around, easy stuff, but you still have fun in it.
Yeah, no, I hate always having to move my car 4 feet, and I got to start it up on a cold start and then, you know, move it another 4 feet back.
Yeah.
So stuff like that, even.
All right, so getting back after driving the 570, the NSX, both are a heck of a lot of fun, even when we go really old school to our own cars, naturally aspirated big motors. I mean, these are the most modern versions until you get into like the crazy super hybrid EV things. I think they're still a blast.
Yeah, this is my first time driving a McLaren and an NSX, and I don't know which one I would pick. They are both fun.
Yeah.
I think I would go with the McLaren just because of a little bit more of that old school feeling that I'm used to in my own car.
Right.
Acura is nice, but it's just a step up in luxury, I would say. That there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But I like that go-kart feeling vibe, like simplicity.
Right.
But I like, maybe the
So the
Artura
Artura. So
would be, yeah.
so we
if
need
I
an
want a
Artura.
McLaren with the hybrid, yeah, get the Artura. So, and you get the doors too. But the Acura has a little bit more space in it.
Yeah, the Acura
So-
feeling is nice. I think the coupe is way better for taller people. And again, we're not giants or
Yeah.
anything, but when I drove the coupe recently, a couple months ago, I fit fine. I felt comfortable. You do still feel very tight, very in a small car, like your Lotus was.
Yeah.
So it's a different feeling. The NSX is for sure like a luxury car. I could see
Yeah.
the NSX being, if you're coming from an R35 GTR, that felt like kind of like the GTR, more comfortable, more normal, being it's a normal brand.
Yeah.
But faster, more supercar design, hybrid system.
I could see
This
that.
might be more of a car if you're coming from the sports cars, maybe Corvettes, you know, Lotuses, things like that, Lambos, Ferraris, R8s.
Yeah.
So
No,
different
maybe
buyers for each
more
car.
daily driver friendly than the McLaren.
Yeah.
But not to say you can't daily the McLaren.
And either way, I think both technology, a heck of a lot of fun. And I think
Yeah.
with modern supercars having the hybrid stuff, I think they're going to be a blast. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't like the EVs, I will say, but I think the hybrid stuff is here to stay and is the best blend of everything.
Yeah, and we'll see how that technology improves over the years, and maybe it'll get less expensive and better
True.
refinements and better battery systems, things
Yeah.
like that.
But that is it then for the 570S versus the NSX. Fun comparing these two cars. You can buy these cars in the 120, 130 grand range. So a pretty attainable six-figure supercar, of course, but pretty awesome for sure. Check out 704 Exotics, links down below. They have an insane selection of cars just like this. But if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you all in the next video.